Private Casey Williams had been at Fort Garrison for exactly 72 hours, making her the newest rookie in a facility filled with legendary marksmen who measured their experience in decades and confirmed kills. But her rookie status was about to become irrelevant in the most spectacular way possible. General Morrison's morning announcement was typical. Rookies would observe advanced Barrett M107A1 training from a safe distance, while real snipers attempted the facility's most challenging shot at 4,000 meters. When 8 consecutive experts failed to even reach the target zone, Casey's quiet voice cut through the frustrated silence with a simple request for one attempt. The laughter that followed would turn to stunned silence in exactly 47 seconds. What nobody in that room knew was that the seemingly inexperienced rookie watching from the sidelines had spent every day since age 12 perfecting techniques that weren't taught in any military manual, inherited from a father whose sniper records were so classified they officially didn't exist. If you believe that true skill doesn't always come with rank or recognition, please like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from today. Casey Williams had arrived at Fort Garrison with standard-issue gear and nothing that distinguished her from any other new recruit. To the veteran snipers who dominated the facility's elite programs, she was just another fresh-faced soldier who would likely wash out within the first month. Fort Garrison specialized in producing the military's most elite marksmen. General Morrison had commanded the facility for 12 years, building its reputation on a simple philosophy: respect the hierarchy, earn your position through service, and never presume to understand what you haven't experienced. Casey understood this hierarchy perfectly. When asked about shooting experience, she simply stated she had familiarity with hunting rifles. It wasn't technically a lie, but it wasn't the complete truth either. The truth was something Casey had learned to hide after her father's sudden disappearance from active duty. David "Ghost" Williams had been one of the military's most effective long-range specialists until his name was quietly removed from all records following a classified operation. Casey had spent years learning why her father's techniques were so effective and why they had been erased from military training programs. She practiced alone on private land, using equipment assembled from specifications her father had taught her before his final deployment. The morning training session began with General Morrison addressing the group. Today's exercise would test the facility's most experienced marksmen at 4,000 meters using the Barrett M107A1, a distance that challenged even the most sophisticated military systems under marginal atmospheric conditions. Master Sergeant Rodriguez stepped up first, his 23 years of combat experience evident in his methodical preparation. He had held the facility's long-range record for 8 years. His first shot missed entirely. After careful adjustments, his second shot also missed. Casey watched from the observation area, automatically calculating variables Rodriguez was missing. The wind wasn't consistent across the 4,000-meter range. 3 distinct layers moved at different speeds, creating a ballistic puzzle requiring non-standard compensation techniques. Staff Sergeant Chin attempted next, bringing 15 years of specialized training to the challenge. His shots came closer, but still failed to achieve required accuracy. Lieutenant Colonel Barnes, a veteran of 3 classified operations who had never missed in combat, managed to hit the target frame but missed center by several feet. After 8 consecutive failures, silence settled over the range. Veterans who had never encountered insurmountable challenges stood in groups, quietly discussing alternatives. The Barrett M107A1 seemed to mock their efforts, rendered ineffective by conditions they couldn't master. Casey had remained motionless throughout, mentally calculating corrections for each missed shot. Her father's techniques accounted for variables conventional training ignored: atmospheric layering, earth rotation effects at extreme distances, and ammunition variations critical beyond 3,000 meters. She stood slowly, drawing surprised glances. Her voice was quiet but clear as she requested permission to attempt the 4,000-meter shot. The profound silence was broken by ripples of laughter. Veterans stared at the rookie, who had volunteered for a challenge that had defeated 8 of the military's most capable marksmen. General Morrison's expression shifted from surprise to amusement. He reminded Casey that she had been there only 3 days, while these men had decades of experience and specialized training. Casey remained at attention, respectfully maintaining her request. More laughter followed about rookies not understanding limitations. General Morrison questioned what made her think she could succeed where decorated veterans had failed. Casey met his gaze directly, stating she used different techniques and accounted for variables they missed. The audacity was either remarkable confidence or dangerous ignorance. Either way, it would provide educational value. General Morrison gestured toward the Barrett M107A1, inviting her to demonstrate what 3 days of observation had taught her. Casey approached the weapon with casual movements compared to the intense preparation of preceding veterans. She settled into a shooting position subtly different from regulation stance, her breathing slowing to impossibly controlled rhythm. Veterans watched with skepticism as she made minute adjustments to the Barrett M107A1's position, changes barely visible but precisely calculated. Through her scope, the 4,000-meter target appeared as a distant speck wavering in atmospheric distortion. Casey's mind automatically compensated for variables her father had taught her: wind layer spiral effects, gravitational drift affecting .50 caliber rounds at extreme distances, atmospheric density variations at different altitudes. Her finger found the trigger with gentle pressure her father had demonstrated in secret training sessions. The Barrett M107A1 represented military sniper technology pinnacle, but technology was only as effective as its user. The shot traveled 4.7 seconds across mountainous terrain, maintaining trajectory through wind currents that had defeated 8 experts. The .50 caliber round struck dead center with precision that seemed to violate physics, registering clearly on electronic scoring systems. The silence that followed was different from frustrated quiet after previous failures. This was professionals trying to process something they couldn't understand or explain. Rodriguez stared at the scoring display, his expression shifting from disbelief to awe. Chen approached the Barrett M107A1 as if examination might reveal unknown capabilities. General Morrison confirmed through binoculars what electronics had verified: perfect center hit. Casey rose from shooting position, movements still calm despite focused attention. When asked how, she simply stated family training. The words carried implications that chilled veterans who recognized the terminology, techniques passed down through military bloodlines, not part of official curricula. General Morrison studied Casey with new intensity, asking about her father's name and unit. Casey identified David Williams, call sign Ghost. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Rodriguez stepped backward as if struck. Chen's face went pale with recognition. Barnes whispered something like prayer or curse. Ghost Williams was a legend whose name appeared in classified files most veterans had never been cleared to read. His techniques had been so effective that they were removed from training programs after his disappearance to prevent proliferation among potentially unreliable personnel. General Morrison slowly acknowledged that her father was the best long-range specialist the military ever produced, with an unofficial record at 4,200 meters that had never been beaten. The techniques he developed were considered too advanced and dangerous for standard programs. Casey confirmed he had taught her before his final deployment, saying someday she might need to prove the techniques still worked. The Barrett M107A1 now seemed less like standard equipment and more like a precision instrument in hands that understood its true capabilities. General Morrison faced a decision affecting not just Casey's career, but potentially the entire Fort Garrison program. Techniques that had succeeded where conventional methods failed were officially classified, but clearly being preserved outside official channels. He ordered Casey to report to his office after the session. As she walked away from the Barrett M107A1, leaving behind a target proving her father's legacy remained effective, veterans who had dismissed her now watched with respect reserved for soldiers carrying capabilities transcending official rank. The rookie had reminded everyone that some skills are inherited rather than learned, and that the most dangerous assumptions are made about people whose true capabilities remain hidden until they choose revelation. Some legends don't retire. They teach their children to carry on traditions that transcend military hierarchy and prove that the most powerful shot sometimes comes from the person nobody expects. If this story inspired you to believe that capability doesn't always announce itself with rank, please like and subscribe. Share your thoughts about hidden talents in the comments. Because sometimes the most powerful shot proves everyone's assumptions wrong.